Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, so imagine planting a seed in the ground. You're incredibly diligent about it, right? You water it every single day. You make sure it's completely protected from the harsh sun. You're basically caring for this tiny patch of dirt like it's your own kid. And then, one whole year passes by, and absolutely nothing grows. Now, I want you to honestly ask yourself, would you keep watering that seed for 4 long years if literally nothing grew? I mean, if you stood over that same patch of dirt day after day, month after month, and saw zero visible results, honestly, most of us would probably just assume the seed was a dud, cut our losses, and move on, right? But that is exactly what one farmer in China completely refused to do. And what happened next? It teaches us one of the most powerful lessons out there about how growth actually works. So let's look at the invisible seed and Farmer Lai's dream. Farmer Lai had this very specific, really ambitious dream. He wanted to grow the absolute most magnificent bamboo forest in his entire region. And to do this, he went out and bought a very rare Chinese bamboo seed. Now, when the seller handed over the seed, he actually offered this pretty stern warning. He said, most people give up before they see the miracle. But Li, he just smiled. I mean, how hard could growing a plant really be anyway? You put it in the ground, you water it, and it grows. Simple enough. So he planted the seed and kicked off his daily watering routine. Which brings us to the weight of doubt, the waiting and watering. Well, months passed by. Winter turned to spring, spring to summer. And absolutely nothing happened. Every single morning, Lee watered the soil. Every evening, he checked for any sign of life. And zero visible progress. Year 1 passes. Nothing. Year 2, nothing. Year 3, still nothing. Man, can you even imagine the sheer discipline it takes to just keep staring at barren dirt? By the time year 4 rolls around, the heavy, agonizing weight of looking at that empty soil every day is just crushing. And the thing is, he wasn't just battling his own patience here. His neighbors actually started to notice this strange daily routine of his. And yeah, the laughter began. Did you forget where you planted it? They'd ask him. Maybe the seed is dead. As the years kept ticking by, the mockery just grew louder and louder. People started calling him foolish. They were literally looking with pity at this quote-unquote delusional farmer who was out there watering dead dirt. Yet, every single day, he kept watering. But, Lee was only human. By the 4th year of doing this daily, grueling labor with absolutely zero reward, heavy doubt finally crept in. He stood there holding his watering can, staring at the empty soil, and he had to ask himself, what if everyone else is actually right? What if I've just wasted years of my life? What if I really am a fool? He was right on the brink, literally inches away from giving up entirely. But then, he remembered his vision. He remembered why he wanted that strong bamboo forest in the first place. And he realized something absolutely profound. The dream wasn't dead. It was only invisible. His progress wasn't gone. It just couldn't be seen yet. And with that massive shift in perspective, he picked up his watering can and he went right back to work. And that leads us to the sudden miracle, year 5. Finally, after 5 long, agonizing years of barren dirt, something completely unbelievable happened. A tiny, fragile little green shoot finally broke through the soil. Now, of course, the neighbors saw it and they just laughed all over again. They were like, 5 years for that tiny little thing? But let me tell you, their laughter didn't last long at all. Within weeks, the bamboo absolutely exploded upward. It didn't just grow a few feet, it skyrocketed to nearly 80 feet tall. The massive bamboo forest that Lee had been dreaming of, it materialized almost instantly. It left the neighbors completely stunned, thinking this incredible plant had somehow just magically grown 80 feet out of nowhere. But they were entirely wrong about that. The bamboo wasn't just growing rapidly out of nowhere. It had been growing for 5 full years, just underground. You see, while everyone thought Lai was crazy, that tiny seed was working tirelessly beneath the surface. It was building a massive, complex root system strong enough to actually support 80 feet of vertical height. Without those 5 invisible years, that crazy outward growth would have been biologically impossible. So let's talk about the overnight success illusion and demystify this miracle a bit. The way those neighbors viewed the bamboo, that is exactly how our modern society drastically misunderstands success. We live in a world that is completely obsessed with the sudden, the instant, and the visible. Society really only sees the surface level, right? We see the athlete lifting a championship trophy, the entrepreneur becoming rich, the creator gaining millions of views, or the student hitting the top exam scores. We look at them and instantly think, wow, an overnight success. But what society doesn't see are the years underground. We don't see the failures, the massive sacrifices, the lonely practice sessions, the crippling doubts, and all of that invisible work. Just like the bamboo, the visible triumph we all praise depends entirely on the invisible groundwork.
Which brings us to your bamboo season, trusting your roots. Because right now, there is a very high chance that you are watering your own patch of dirt, looking down and wondering why on earth nothing is happening.
Maybe you're studying incredibly hard for a major exam and your practice scores just aren't budging. Or maybe you're pouring your absolute heart into building a business without seeing a single paying customer yet. Maybe you're creating videos that are only getting 10 views. Or hey, maybe you're just trying to build better daily habits to improve your life. Look, it is absolutely exhausting to put in intense effort without getting any recognition, results, or rewards. I totally get it. But listen to me on this. A lack of visible results absolutely does not mean you are failing. It simply means you are in your root growing season. It is the crucial, painful, completely unnoticed season of your life that makes literally all of your future growth possible. You are building the deep foundation that's required to hold up the towering success you're going to want later. So never judge your progress by what is visible today. Let me say that again. Never judge your progress by what is visible right now. It is the absolute greatest trap you can fall into. The most important foundational growth of your entire life will almost always happen in the dark, deep underground where absolutely nobody else can see it. So what do you do in that season? Well, you keep learning, you keep improving, and most importantly, you just keep showing up. Consistency is the water that feeds your unseen roots. Do not let the mocking neighbors or that quiet patch of dirt convince you to stop watering your dream. Because one day, if you just keep watering, your bamboo is going to break the surface. And when it finally does, it's going to grow so fast and so high that people will be completely shocked. When they inevitably call you an overnight success, will you be the only one who knows about the years you spent tending to the roots? Embrace your invisible grind. Stay the course. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and whatever you do, keep watering your seed.